Hi guys, in today's video we are going to discuss the keycard problem. Now, I know by this point the topic is probably late, but I feel like this topic has been brewing throughout the Switch's 2 lifespan. So technically it's still a topic, and there are some things I want to say and the new information that we received from Nintendo themselves. So unfortunately, without further ado, let's get into the video. But before that, if you end up liking the video, please hit that like button, and if you're not yet subscribed, please subscribe. And also hit that hype button. It really helps the video go around the algorithm. So with this video, I'm going to be talking about the new information we've gotten from Nintendo themselves, fanboy reactions, and my overall thoughts about game key cards. Spoiler alert, I don't like them, not one bit. So I have done a total of 2 keycard videos, so if you want to check those out, by all means do. But after the second one, I wasn't really thinking of making another one, but with the new news going around, I feel like things are actually getting worse from my previous keycard video. And I can really tell the progression that they're slowly going for with this whole keycard idea. My initial thought was that they were going to have keycards for about the first year of the Switch's 2 lifespan, maybe a little bit more, just to help get more games out on the system. And then Nintendo was going to make a nice in-between card, so it's not as expensive for third parties, and we could go on our merry way. And it could be like the usual physical game, digital game. But that's not what's happening. It's exactly the opposite. But let me slow down a bit. Let's talk about the background on why I'm making this video. It all started last week when Nintendo uploaded a video on their channel showing how game keycards worked, which at that point, they're very late to the party. Like, I don't know what they were thinking with that video, and it was really jarring to have that happy-go-lucky music in the background while they secretly tell you that, hey, your product is not in the product. Unsurprisingly, it got criticized in the likes to dislikes ratio, which, as the recording of this video, it got 4.7 likes, but it got 27k dislikes. Ouch. So good to them on that, but the problem mainly lies with what game they chose to showcase. Out of all of the keycard games that they have released this year, they decided to put Pokopia. They decided to showcase a game that's upcoming, that's a Pokemon game. And you know what people think when they think Pokemon games? Nintendo first party, and that's where a majority of the confusion and arguments lie. And I will admit, when I got something wrong, in my initial tweet, I said it was a first party game, but no, it is technically a AA game that is produced by Nintendo, but not developed by Nintendo. Koei Tecmo Omega Force is the ones who are actually developing the game. And of course, many people were rightfully disappointed, including me. I kind of had a crash out moment because this really sets the precedent of how Nintendo is going to do things, and I don't like that. And another thing that I got wrong in my initial knee-jerk reaction tweet was I said, you might as well just get it digitally, which made a lot of people think that I'm a digital gamer, which that's not the case. I am obviously a physical collector. So anyone who was confused with that, I was mainly saying that instead of a key card, you might as well get it digital at that point, because the key cards don't really serve a positive thing. And don't tell me that, hey, there's people who love key cards. No, they just put up with it because that's all they have. I felt like in the room where they made all this happen, they were like, you get the benefits for not wasting extra money on the cartridge, and Nintendo gets the benefits by not losing third party. And then someone was like, well, what about the consumer? And then they were like, they could sell it? So our next point is, why is this so terrible? Well, I could give you a lot of reasons, but I'm going to try to stay focused. My main concern is that this sets a precedent. So if you guys don't know, Nintendo announced that none of their first party games will be keycard games. But I feel like they're going to go back on that. And here's why. Because while yes, Pokopia is a third-party game made by Koei Tecmo, and it is published by Nintendo, but not technically developed, so it's not a first-party game. But do you notice what I just said? I said, basically, it's a Nintendo-produced game, not developed. I feel like they're really moving the goalposts slowly and slowly. And this news really shook me because I realized that they could technically make all the rules when it comes to keycards. And they're not really consistent on what is a keycard, what is not. Is it because of storage, or is it because of cost? Is it this, is it that, is it A, B, or C? We don't really know what games they decide to put on a keycard. or not put on a key card. And that in itself is really annoying because I want to be excited for all my Nintendo games, but the first thought in my head is it going to be a key card? Is it going to be a key card? Please don't let it be a key card. And I hate that feeling. Why is my hair in my glasses? It takes all the excitement away from the Switch 2, and there's a lot of games that I just didn't get for the Switch 2 because it's a key card, and this is a big problem. And I do realize that Nintendo is doing all this to appeal to third-party games, but I feel like Nintendo does not realize their audience, because a lot of Nintendo Switch players are very physical heavy gamers. Nintendo consoles were known to always have physicals. That's part of the charm and why a lot of people like the Nintendo Switch. They don't want an all-digital beast, especially with the amount of storage that the Switch 2 comes with. My shelf is not a big shelf. The ones on the bottom is my PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, and 3DS. These four over here are mainly Switch. This is my curated collection, which means all the games in the shelf are all the games that I like. So again, I feel like it's out of touch for Nintendo not to realize that most of their consumers like physical gaming. But this whole keycard mess is making a lot of people think to themselves, I don't really want to support the Nintendo Switch because they don't have the physicals that I like or expect. And I don't know why they're trying to force this digital hybrid monster on the consumers. I really don't. And a lot of people are defending this by saying they're just being quirky. No, this is not quirky. It's far from that. And by extension, the Pokemon company is testing the waters on what the consumer can handle and what they can get away with. And we all know that they love to cut corners when it comes to Pokemon games, so it's not really surprising. And to add insult to injury, Pokopia comes in at $70. Yes, a cozy, similar Pokemon game with graphics that look like it fit in with the Switch 1 is coming out for $70. That is insane work. So here's your product that's not even there, it's just the activation key, and you're gonna pay full price for it. I mean, I'm not getting the game, by the way. If you guys can't tell, but they could have done something for the consumer to make it better, but no, we get nothing. Literally nothing. But Pokopia is the first at something because it's actually the first keycard game that was published by Nintendo. Because next thing you know, Xenoblade Chronicles, who are developed by Mandyleeplays and not technically Nintendo, they could actually put that as a keycard. Do I think that they're gonna do that? Hopefully not, but I wouldn't be surprised if they did. But that brings up another problem I have. Where's the rules when it comes to keycards? So Pokopia is being developed by Koei Tecmo Omega Force, but do you want to know what else they developed recently? The new Zelda Warriors Age of Imprisonment. And that one is full on the cart. Why? I don't know. I'm glad that it's full on the cart, but this highlights how the inconsistencies could be annoying. Because why couldn't they just, make Pokopia full on the cart? It has the same credentials as Age of Imprisonment. What is going on here? What are the rules? The only cause I could see is it's Game Freak or the Pokemon company trying to make more money, even though they have a boatload of money. And the funny thing is, Nintendo made this problem for themselves. Instead of just finding a way to make a new cartridge that's not as expensive or has a middle ground between the small one and the big one, boom, problem solved. And the funny thing is, when we got all the numbers of how well the Switch 2 is doing, they had a little slideshow. And on that slideshow, it had upcoming first-party games, and guess what game was under there? Pokopia. So even Nintendo regards it as a first party. I don't know if that was a mistake or an error, but that was recent, and they still put it under first-party games. No wonder people are confused. I know that companies are not your friend, but back in the day, I know I sound old, companies used to do stuff for the consumer so the consumer could buy their stuff. Now it seems like the business does whatever they want, and they're not even going out of their way to give incentives to the consumer. We're getting nickel and dimed, basically. So overall, this whole situation is really sad, and I can't even be mad at this point. I'm just sad. But I do hope that things still could be changed, so voice your opinions and criticisms. Speaking of that, you know what's bad about putting your criticisms out there? Fanboys/fangirls in the Nintendo Nintendo community are just annoying. I honestly don't even think that they're in it for the community, because all they do is argue with said community. And this is really depressing to see, because they are defending a billion-dollar company, but I'm not the first to say that, nor the last. So moving on. And the whole I don't play my games, I just collect them, is such a straw man argument. Like, holy cow. You know you could do both. So that is it for today's video. I feel kind of sad, but I got a lot of stuff off my chest. Hopefully this is the last keycard video, hopefully. If you guys like the video or resonate with it, then please hit that like button. And if you're not yet subscribed, please subscribe. Also hype it if you want to get around, that always helps. And leave a comment down below. So without further ado, I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. And as always, play a good game. Peace, peace.